Although her 1989 debut album, All Hail the Queen, sold less than 500,000 copies, it still made a major impact. And just like that, Queen Latifah became a spokesperson for a neglected constituency, young Black women. As the author of 11 out of the project's 12 original tracks, Dana Elaine Owens, later more famously known as Queen Latifah, developed her writing and rhyming skills at a very young age. While growing up in a project in East Orange, New Jersey, the always smart Latifah was identified as gifted in elementary school and went on to skip a grade. She adopted the latter part of her stage name, meaning gentle, kind, and pleasant in Arabic, when she was just 8 years old. She said the queen in her name is more about strength and about women being treated as such. She started rapping in high school after initially finding her voice singing in church, and honed her skills performing at talent shows and parties. After her demo got the attention of the powers that be at Tommy Boy Music, she was signed by the label and released her first single, Wrath of My Madness, in 1988 at the age of 18. Her debut album dropped the following year. Latifah's signature hit, Ladies First, a duet with British rapper Moni Love, became a rap feminist anthem and manifesto, and Latifah became a legend. She cultivated a regal image that matched her moniker. She was beautiful and intelligent, with natural charisma and gregarious nature that made her a star. All Hail the Queen established her voice and vision as a rap original, and the record would become a contemporary classic. Though much of her follow-up, Nature of a Sister, is centered on her exceptional prowess as a rapper, her third effort, Black Rain, would not only become her most successful album up to that point, but also showed a more bold, brasher, and world-weary side of her. The album's biggest social statement can probably be attributed to the modern women's anthem, UNITY, as it posed one of the most memorable questions of the 90s.
Who you calling a bitch?
And with that, she addressed the topic of being a woman, more specifically a Black woman, coming of age during the era. Each verse addressed street harassment, domestic violence, and gang violence, topics that, unfortunately, are still very relevant today. Perhaps the universality of the Grammy-winning song is why it remains her highest charting single to date and her only single to make it to the top 30 of Billboard's Hot 100. The early 90s was also the era that Latifah was on the brink of crossover success in her budding acting career, having just secured the lead role in the Fox sitcom Living Single. Prior to that, she'd already made her small screen debut on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and taken on supporting roles on the big screen in films Jungle Fever, House Party 2, and Juice.
You! Well, you might have a chance if that shit wasn't so small.
Throughout Latifah's childhood as well as her adult years, she's had to deal with many personal traumas and tragedies along her journey up the ladder of success. One possibly not so bad thing, since she may not even remember the event, resulted in the scar on her forehead. She accidentally tripped over an inconveniently located telephone cord while playing a game of tag when she was 3 years old, hitting her head on the corner of the bathroom wall. She ended up getting 3 stitches. But that wasn't the end of it. Later, she fell on her grandmother's steps and busted the old wound open again. After choosing to keep the incident to herself for years, Latifah finally revealed to Essence magazine in 2009 that for a short period of time when she was 5 years old, she was the victim of sexual abuse at the hands of a teenager charged with her care. He violated me. I never told anybody. I just buried it as deeply as I could and kept people at an arm's distance. I never really let a person get too close to me. Then, at the age of 9, her parents divorced. While it's easy to link her 1993 album Black Rain's harder edge to the sound ushered in by other hip-hop albums released around the same time, one can't help but also think that the death of her older brother also contributed to the feel of the record. Lancelot Owens Jr., or Winky as he was affectionately nicknamed, dreamed of a career in law enforcement, and he would eventually become a Newark policeman. For his 24th birthday, his sister and some friends decided he deserved a present, a motorcycle he'd been yearning for. They figured since he was a cop and was going to get one anyway at some point, they'd go ahead and make it happen sooner rather than later. Sadly, the birthday gift would carry him to his death only weeks later in a tragic road accident. Latifah and her mom were devastated. The rapper's grief led to substance abuse and depression, both of which she eventually resolved. She also retrieved the key to the bike he'd been riding, had it dipped in gold, and wore it on a chain around her neck for years, visible in many live performances and public appearances. In 1995, Latifah was the victim of a late-night carjacking. While waiting for a group of friends who were following her in another car, 2 men, one brandishing a revolver, walked up to the car and demanded that the occupants get out. They complied, but for an unknown reason, as her bodyguard and boyfriend at the time was exiting, one of the gunmen fired a shot, hitting him. After the assailants fled in Latifah's BMW, she flagged down a cab that raced him to the hospital, where he was found to be in critical but stable condition. He ultimately made a full recovery, and the carjackers, just teenagers at the time, were later arrested, charged, and convicted. The following year, Latifah was arrested on charges of carrying a loaded pistol and possession of marijuana. After being pulled over for speeding, the officer noticed a familiar odor and asked Latifah if she'd been smoking. She said yes. The officer also asked her if she had drugs or weapons in the car, and she, allegedly, replied yes to both of those inquiries. A search of the vehicle did reveal drugs and a .38 caliber handgun in the driver's side door pocket. She wasn't prosecuted for possession, but she was fined $810 for driving with no license and carrying a loaded weapon. Latifah faced another arrest in 2002 for misdemeanor reckless driving, to which she pleaded no contest and avoided a DUI charge. She was sentenced to 3 years of informal probation, ordered to pay $300 in fines, and to participate in an alcohol education program. In 2018, Latifah lost her mother and best friend, Rita Owens, who passed away after struggling with heart failure for more than a decade. One topic of persistent speculation throughout Latifah's career has been her sexuality. No doubt that has a lot to do with her never having talked about it in any capacity. She told the New York Times in 2008, "I don't have a problem discussing the topic of somebody being gay, but I do have a problem discussing my personal life. You don't get that part of me. Sorry. I don't feel like I need to share my personal life, and I don't care if people think I'm gay or not. Assume whatever you want. You do it anyway." Over the years, Queen Latifah has been the recipient of a Grammy Award, a Golden Globe Award, 2 Screen Actors Guild Awards, 2 NAACP Image Awards, 1 Primetime Emmy Award, and an Academy Award nomination. At the BET Awards in 2021, she received yet another honor when she was given their Lifetime Achievement Award. During her acceptance speech, she publicly acknowledged her partner, Ebony Nichols, and son, Rebel, for the first time. Her declarations included shout-outs of "Ebony, my love," while touching her heart in salute, "Rebel, my love," warmly acknowledging the son she and her partner reportedly welcomed together in 2019, and finishing off with an exclamation of "Happy Pride." So, who's Ebony Nichols? She's a former Los Angeles Lakers girl dancer who went on to work as a professional choreographer on major Hollywood productions. She and Latifah reportedly met on the set of Dancing with the Stars in 2009, but didn't embark on their ultra-private relationship until several years later. In the last 2 years, the couple have taken things up a notch, appearing at premieres and on red carpets together, including the Amphar Gala in Cannes, France in May 2023, holding hands and grinning from ear to ear.